or pain. The only difference is what we've baptized pain to be. We baptize pain with names that seems to justify our pain. But the bottom line is, your life is either driven, governed by either pain or joy. And there is no middle ground. We've baptized pain as necessity, responsibility, obligation, need, but the drive is still pain. What is the difference? Pain is when your motivation is governed from external influence, which means there are external superficial principles that informs your commitment. For example, there is the fear of the negative consequences if you don't stick to your responsibility. One could be the need to provide. It's an external influence that informs your so-called commitment. There is a fear of the repercussion that makes you work hard. It's the sense of responsibility for the fear of shame that you didn't take care of your children, you are not able to pay rent, school fees, you are not able to feed. It could be the fear of losing your job. So your motivation is the sense of the consequences. Somebody will sack you, somebody will question you, somebody will discipline you. It could also be informed by the influence of your past pain. You came from poverty, you came from lack, you came from a broken relationship. So you are stuck in a course because the fear of the influence of your past keeps you on course. Everything that is governed by external influence is driven by pain, either by experience or by the fear of it. So you realize your motivation is by external supervision. Somebody's watching you, somebody will penalize you, or something will happen if you don't. And you can tell exactly the influence behind that you are driving. You call it responsibility, you call it duty, you call it assignment, whichever name you give it, the drive is still external. There is this group that are driven by joy. Joy is an internal drive that informs or driven by the desire for satisfaction, pleasure, and fulfillment. When joy is involved, the motivation is pleasure. You actually almost do what you do as a hobby. It's as much as you are doing it, it's almost like it's a hobby. You are doing it for joy, you are doing it for pleasure, you are doing it for fulfillment, and the result is that you are more fulfilled than what you are. Men that are governed by pain will always consider the outcome. And if they got an alternative, an otherwise, an option, a better offer, they will quit because their motivation is always external. So what is the difference in simple words? Anything driven by pain as external supervision. Anything governed and driven by joy as internal propelling force. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, a man governed by joy lives in freedom of life. A man or a woman governed by pain is a prisoner of what they're doing. You don't need a prison worse than self-imprisonment, where you do what you must do because it's an obligation, not because you love, not because you're satisfied, not because of pleasure, not because of fulfillment, but because of responsibility. And I can tell you for sure, most people don't enjoy what they are doing. And so, consider this thought. Anything you do joyfully will never give you pleasure. You cannot earn pleasure from pain. The reason why it's never enough is because it was never earned out of joy. You can earn 1 million, you can make 10 million. If the motivation that drives beyond you, people work so hard to earn, but they deny themselves pleasure for the fear of loss. All of us, whatever you enjoy today, whatever you survive, always informs what is the drive behind it. I want therefore to climax anniversary of doing this thing joyfully. So on Sunday, we will, what has kept us here through ups and downs is the joy. I want therefore to commit to you these thoughts. Identify the wells of your joy, protect them. I'll be very brief. Wells of your joy. And once you have identified them, protect them. Isaiah chapter 12, verses 3 says Isaiah chapter 12, verses 3. The wells of your joy, and protect them. I want you to realize that joy is a well that informs the pleasure of life. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bible says, looking unto Jesus, that is Hebrews, unto Jesus, Hebrews chapter 12, verses 2, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher, the perfecter, the accomplisher of our faith, whom for the joy of what was set before him. I love what this version says. It says the joy of accomplishing the goal. The joy of accomplishing the joy. There was a motivation behind his working. It says that joy surpassed death, shame, ridicule, the price. My ladies and gentlemen, the drive for your life must inform your joy such that you can override the challenges of life. So Isaiah says in chapter 12, verses 3, go to Isaiah, therefore with joy you will draw water from the springs of salvation. Go to the next verse. And in that day you will say, give thanks to the Lord. Call on his name, reading his good manners in the church, his name in prayer. Make his deeds known among the people of the earth. Proclaim to them that his name is. Sing praises to the Lord, for he has done excellent and glorious things. Let this be known throughout the earth. Rejoice and shout for joy. O inhabitants is the Holy One of Israel. Verses 12 says, verses 3 says what? Verses 3, therefore, with joy you will draw water from the springs of salvation. Give me another version, because that's our version. Says what? Joyfully you will pull up packets of water from the wells of salvation. And tells the lady, everything you've lived for was driven by pain, being lonely, the fear of being alone, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being a woman, the fear of not being relevant. But I want you to know, lady, that I want to give you another source of satisfaction. I will give you water, And that water will, one, quench your thirst. Number two, it drink from. It's called the well of joy. With the well of joy, you can water your garden. With the well of joy, you can water your dreams. With the well of joy, you can beautify your life. With the well of joy, you can live a healthy life. The bones. It gives meaning to life. Ends. Imprisonment begins. I don't know about you, but I have a concern. I would rather enjoy 10 years than sorrow for her. There is a well called the well of joy. The joy of the Lord has two elements. Number one, joy is a place of fulfillment and it brings fulfillment and it refills. Mahala kunaitwa kichito cha furaha, ambapo Biblia inasema kwamba with triumphant joy, I like TBT, with triumphant joy, you will drink. The things you can attribute your salvation to is that when you gave your life to Christ, the first thing you felt was joy. Because that well is what you drink from. That well is the source of your satisfaction. That well is what gives you survival. It quenches the thirst of life. It washes away pain. It eliminates weariness. Do you know what water does? Water quenches your thirst in two ways. It quenches external thirst, and it also quenches internal thirst. It says, from this triumphant well of joy, you shall drink deeply from that well of salvation. Look at me. When you lose joy, everything becomes a mountain. When you lose joy, even easy, small things becomes an issue. I want to take you through this journey this morning by letting you know the wells of joy brings fulfillment and refilling. You are always fulfilled and you are refilled. When joy is the governing principle of what you do, it fulfills. Whatever you do has fulfillment. It's like you drank from a spring of cold water and of thirst. When joy is on duty, work quenches your thirst. Family quenches your thirst. Friendship quenches your thirst. Your responsibility quenches your thirst. Prayer quenches your thirst.